Hey there, Patrick Peace here. How you doing? I got through it. I finally finished it. It's 500 pages of research on the Catholic Church, and in particular the bank, the Vatican Bank. Right, over 150 pages of references, notes. Even though a lot of the references are simply referring to obscure sources, even if a small fraction of it is verifiable, it's still a very compelling history of the financial workings of the Catholic Church, essentially from World War II to the present day. I just thought I'd make a couple of comments on it. I don't recommend it as reading material because it could cause one to lose faith in humanity. It's a very discouraging book. It's very depressing, and I don't even know why I read it. But it's very meticulous, very detailed. The large bulk of the book is focused on a fellow by the name of Marcinkus. He was an archbishop, and he was the head of the Vatican Bank for 18 years. Paul Marcinkus, he was a archbishop, I believe, and he was the main focus of the book, the bulk of the book. I wouldn't say all of it, but I mean a large portion of it, and a large portion focusing on um, the World War II time frame and the interconnection between Germany and the Vatican, which is very revealing, very sobering. The only thing I didn't like about the book is that there are numerous instances where the author mentions a date and he doesn't give the year. So for a book that's covering, 50 years of history or 70 years of history, you'd think that he would give the date because you don't know where you are. He says, and then in June, such and such, and that could be June of 1980 to 1990. You don't know. He does give the year sometimes, but there's far too many instances where he doesn't give the year of what he's talking about, and you have no frame of reference whatsoever. So I have no idea why he wouldn't pick up on that or whether he did that purposely. That was the only negative of the book that I found from a reading ability perspective. The only other thing is that there is no mention of any specific individual that is related to the mafia, and that is for it's always an uncle or a relative or an individual, and it's always kept anonymous, and that almost always, and that makes sense because the author has to um, make sure that he is protected and safe from any repercussions. Obviously, that only makes sense, especially considering the material that's covered. It is so, oh man, it's dark. It's, just to put it mildly, it's dark. So from the guy they found under the Blackfriars Bridge there in wherever that was in London, or yeah, I got through it. I finally finished it. I regret reading it. I regret choosing to read it. Am I glad I did? I don't know. I did. But it doesn't put me in a good state of mind by any means. No. When you have an image of the Catholic Church as, I mean, it's the largest um, contributor to charities in the world. And they've got tons of work that they do to help the poor and to help the downtrodden, and on and on. And the book actually does end on a good note. It ends with Pope Francis, who has uh, done extensive work in overhauling the Vatican Bank, the financial work that is this carried on there, and so it does end on a positive note. So that's one redeeming thing, is that the current Pope, Pope Francis, has implemented a lot of work to root out corruption. Um, and there's other parts of it that I could comment on, but I'll just leave it. If somebody is studying that, or it needs to study the relationship of human nature to financial corruption, then of course it might be a valuable thing to study, or it might be necessary to study. Um, but otherwise, or if they need to study history of the Catholic religion in particular, then of course it would have value. But otherwise, oh man, yeah, I picked a wrong time to read that. I picked a wrong year to read that book. But I'm glad it's finished, and I definitely would consider reading more of Posner's work. He's got a book out, several books on different topics, and I definitely am seriously considering getting his other books, but I'll have to wait until I've recuperated from this one, because this one is a kick in the head. It really is. Oh man, it's a kick in the guts, because it reminds me, it reminds us that when money is involved, and when power associated with that money is involved, the corruption that goes along with it, and the propensity of humans to participate in unsavory, stuff. So I'll leave it at that. But that was a tough one to get through. I don't know why I did that to myself. I guess I'm a sucker for punishment. So that's it. Maybe I'll get a thumbnail. Don't read this. There's a lot more positive things out there to read, unless you have to. If you have to, you have to. Or at least wait until you're in your later years. You don't want to have this going through your mind at a young age, when the world is pristine and everything is possible, and you have a positive outlook on human nature. Maybe when you're old and crusty like me, and I don't know any time when it would be good to read a book like that. I can't imagine, except as a warning, and an eye-opening expose on how easily people can fall into bad things. So that's it. Sorry for taking so long to cover this book. That should have taken me 2 minutes, but I just thought I'd make a rambling review. That's my review. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. There is hope. I was supposed to do a video on Proverbs 16, and I didn't do it. I still haven't done it. And I told myself I would, so maybe I'll do that in another video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Don't give up hope. Try and find more positive things to read. But that definitely is a well-written book. There's no doubt about that. It's 10 years in the making, and it's an epic saga. Okay, I've said enough already. Okay, thank you for watching. God bless you. Take care.